starting our painting project for the summer. The first thing I need to do, I want to figure out how deep this rot goes. Is it just the trim? Hopefully it's not too deep and I can just replace these pieces of trim and it's all good, but I got to figure that out. So the first thing, got to get the storm window off. I've taken these screws out. I've got one on each side holding it in place. So I'm going to pull the storm off and then I'm going to see if I can get the trim off without breaking it and figure out how much needs to be replaced. I got the storm off. It was just kind of stuck in the paint here, so I just popped that out, set that aside, and I started to pry this piece of trim off. Looks like the bottom of the window may be a little rotten, but not too bad, mostly just the trim. The sill is gone, so I'll have to do something about that. And on the whole, this trim board seems okay. Here's the back of that trim, and this is the edge that's against the siding over here, and this is the window edge. You can see all the way down. It was that interface with the siding was leaking. It wasn't caulked appropriately at some point. There was caulk on here. I cut it, but I guess that was not always there. So that was getting in there and just rotting out that piece of trim. The good news is that the sheathing back here, that's original tongue and groove. I don't know if that's original, but it's tongue and groove. And that looks like good shape. The window looks like it's in good shape, more or less. This bottom is a little soft, and the sill is gone. But that's not too bad. Unfortunately, the rot is a little more extensive on this side. This piece of the sill or nosing or whatever, this came off. It's completely shot, and you can see that's caulking that was in there. This clap is garbage here. The ends of these couple are no good, but I think I'm gonna leave that. The sheathing, this piece here is no good, and I'm wondering about the piece right below it. Same thing over here, that's no good. And I don't know if this piece of sill will come out separate from this. But I know these side pieces of the window are no longer attached because they're rotting out at the bottom. You can see up here, a lot of the water was getting in right here and running down, partly because, I don't know if you can see, the drip cap on the top of the window is narrower than the window trim. It's just some details weren't done well. This is pre-primed pine. This is not old. The clapboards look pretty old. This is all cedar. They look pretty old. We know the house was resided in 1968, so it's possible these are from 68. But the trim is for sure newer than that. I'm going to attempt to cut out the windowsill. I was originally thinking maybe I could just cut along here, but the fact that like the sides of the window are no longer attached because it's all rotten in there, I think I'm gonna have to replace this whole sill. I bought some 2x8 cedar, and so I need to get this out mostly intact so that I can take some measurements and make a new one and then slide it in. I think I'm gonna cut it like here and here and see if I can get the middle piece out and then try to slide these ends out, all without damaging the sill or the trim on the inside. think I'm through in there. I may use my oscillating saw to just get the rest of that. This is really interesting. This sill has been replaced once before. And last time what they did is they cut right along here. This is the old sill, the first sill that they cut here. And then this is just a piece of pine that they put in here. So I'm not the first one. Pretty interesting. I'm gonna do it a little bit different than they did. But that makes things a little easier, I guess. All right. So you can see where the original sill was, and that was cut out and replaced with what I just took out, and now I'm doing this again. Got the table saw set up on a 15-degree angle. I found that by putting the old sill up here and just kind of matching the angle of the blade. So it turns out 15 degrees is at least pretty close. So I just cut this. This is actually going to be tipped up something like that. So now I need to cut the 15-degree angle over here, and I just measured the old one, and it's 6 inches from, you know, this corner to the other angle. They go the same way. So I need to move my fence over to give me the 6 inches I need, and then I can make the other cut. I've got it marked out where I need to cut to basically leave this as the nosing, and the trim will come down right there, and then this fits up inside the window. So I've got that marked on both sides. You know, this angle or this line needs to have that 15-degree angle to it. That's one side. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other. All right, so this is cut. The next problem is that the sill that was in here was 1.25 inches thick. This is 1.5 inches. I don't have a planer to take it all down. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take off just the the bottoms of these windowsill casings. They're all rotten anyways, so frankly I'm okay taking that out. So I think what I'm gonna do is just mark how to kind of hold this in place and mark that there, and the same thing there, and I think I'm going to cut straight in just for now, and then we'll see what we can do. I think I have to cut an 1/8 inch off of each one of these sides so that it'll slide in there better. I'm using this little cutoff as a mock-up block to kind of see how this is going to fit in there, and basically it's gonna, still want the top to be in the same place, so this is going to sit in there like that, and it's going to sit down out here, and I want to cut basically right along this line. So that line there, I need to cut all along there to fit the new sill. Let's see. Hold on here. We need. This is still too wide. I gotta take like another 1/8 off. Be right back. Gotta trim a little more over here. Let's try that. Alright, that's pretty nice. I'm pretty happy with that. Let's get you in a little closer here. Now, I probably could have cut this a little bit further back, but I'm not too worried about it because this is going to be it's 5/4 thickness trim, so it's a full inch, so it's actually going to come out to like here somewhere. But that slides under there nice. I'm going to clean up the old caulk along this back edge a little bit, but I actually like how that fits in there. I just pulled the top casing off of this window here, and it's not in good shape. It was really rotten, and this is the drip cap that was here. This molding itself is not bad. It's not great, but not bad. But under it, they've got these wooden, I guess, filler strips, and these are really bad. These are soaking wet, just falling apart. And I don't know. I suspect that our issue comes from, oops, this is why we're painting, because, yep, just rip that off. I suspect our issue, yeah, this clapboard is no good. I gotta buy a few claps, I think. I was hoping that these would be okay. But yeah, this one's toast. Water's running down here. The caulk joint up here had failed, and the drip cap was not properly flashed. And so water was coming down and flowing in, and thankfully they've got this Tyvek here, so that somewhat saved some things maybe. But yeah, it's not good. And that's where, you know, this paint is all peeling because of the moisture. This one's wet, but it's actually in okay condition. Yeah, it's just so much moisture. Hopefully, maybe we can let this stuff dry out. But that's going to be the case on probably all these windows on this side at least. This might be a bigger job than I had anticipated. I'm using Lexel caulking. I've got it on the ends, the back side where it'll touch the window casing, and the bottom where it's going to sit on the wall. And then I goofed a little bit. I'm using this zip tape, flashing tape, to seal up the window gap here. And I wanted to put some on the bottom under the sill, but I got so excited to install that sill that I forgot about it. And so, oh well, I can't do it on this window. I don't think it's going to be an issue, but I just wanted to kind of have it there to push any water out that might get in there. But next one. But I'm putting it down the sides, and then I'm going to put it across the top as well, and then I'll put my trim on. I think I'm actually going to set this down and let it come over onto the sill just a little bit. It'll still be hidden by my trim, but that'll push, if anything gets behind here, it'll run down. Now ideally this will be behind my siding as well, but I'm not gonna pry up every clapboard here to do this, so oh well. Doing the best we can. I did splurge and I bought the official zip roller. It's kind of overpriced, I think, but whatever, it'll do the job. I'm gonna try and squeeze this tape under here. It's super sticky. I don't know if it's gonna work well, but I do want to get it up above there. This side was ripped like that, so it was easy, but we'll see what we can do. All right, and then I'm going to put some across the top, right in here. That's not bad, I guess. I'm a little worried I got it too low here. It's gonna show. So for the trim, I'm using this, used to be Boral Truexterior polyash trim product. I think it's Westlake Building Products now, but it's the same stuff, Truexterior. It doesn't shrink or expand like PVC. It's not wood, so it's not going to rot. It's paintable. So this is the first time I've used it. I'm going to give it a try. One thing, so you can use regular saw blades to cut it, but once you cut something with this stuff, or once you cut this material with a saw blade, pretty much it's not good for anything else. So that being said, I do have a couple extra blades there, like old ones. I think I'm just gonna sacrifice what's already on each of the saws, just in terms of time. So both of these saws will be dedicated to cutting this stuff for a little bit, unless I change the blades out. This stuff really cuts nice and smooth. Very easy. I like it so far. And the nice thing too is you don't have to prime. You know, that's my cut edge. I don't have to prime that at all. Just put it up. I'm just gonna test fit all this and see what it looks like. That's what we're going for. That's good, I like that. The difference between what I'm doing here and what was already here before is I'm adding this metal flashing, and that flashing goes up underneath this clapboard. And so any water that comes down here will hit the drip cap, and if it gets back behind there, it's still going to come out over here instead of going behind and ruining all my trim. Now this trim can't rot either, but you know, this clapboard needs to be repaired. That wouldn't happen. Well, that could still happen if this cock joint is not good. I'm using these GRK stainless trim head screws. I'm just going to run them flush basically, and then I don't know if I may fill them, I may not, we'll see how it looks, but we're going to paint over everything white anyways. I want to put a bead of caulk on this back side of the flashing and just kind of push it up, you know, up into that gap with the caulk on the back and try to seal that in. I haven't ripped these to width yet, I was just test fitting the length. They're both a little bit too long. You can see, got that gap there, and it's tight up at the top. Also, I'm noticing that if I were to go all the way back, my angle would be a little bit too steep So I may reduce my angle to say like 14 or 13 degrees, and then test fit it again and then trim if need be. Apparently I forgot to hit record, but I've got this right side casing on. A bit of a gap up there. I think that top piece is leaning back a little bit at the top. So whatever, it's not perfect, but once I get some caulk and some paint on it, it won't be as noticeable. I do like this material. You can put screws right up to the edge. It doesn't split. And that's looking good. So I just gotta, this other side I gotta trim a little bit in the length, and then we would be ready to put that one on. All right, that's just about right. Oh no. Okay, so good to know. The chips just chipped that corner. All right, that's a bummer. Again, caulk will hide it, but I wish I didn't have to do that. All right, trim's on. I think that looks really good. I need to caulk everything, but I'm gonna get the paint off first. So I think, well, gotta put the storm window back on, but really that's it for this part of the project. I've got two, possibly three more windows that have the same problem, so I guess that's next on the docket. All right, let's get the storm window back in here. I'm tempted to leave it out so that we can paint in here, but it kind of does a nice job protecting the house. I don't know, maybe I'll leave it off for now. Although then we can't open the window because of the bugs. I'm gonna put it on. Good decision. It doesn't fit. I made everything as measured and it's too wide and too tall. Now I think the way this is designed, I think I can possibly bend, I don't know. Maybe I won't be putting this on right now. I can't cut the flange any thinner because, well, I guess I could put new holes farther in if I trimmed a little bit. Certainly not going to redo the trim. To be continued. This is what I came home from work to find. I've already organized it slightly, but I guess I had this leaning up against the tree. sideways, and I guess it blew over. So we will no longer be installing this, and we need to figure out a new storm window solution before the winter.